together, 'cause I deserve better. We'll never be together, 'cause I deserve so much better. 'Cause I'm a good girl, you're a bad guy. Keep playing those games, I'ma make you. Every time you leave, it's a perfect time to remind myself you're a bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. I deserve better. I deserve better.
And there you have it. Katryna Alexis, 17-year-old talent, will be joining us in just a couple of seconds. And I just wanted to add that the opening line of that song is what caught my attention. It's a great hook, and she wraps it up with a great rest of the tune. Katryna, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're so happy to have you with us. Thanks to Jill for arranging it. And, you've got a lot going for you at a very early age, and this is something that we've found more than once. But, 17 years old to be at the stage you are is quite an accomplishment. And from a professional standpoint, from the sound of your music, you're handling it quite well. How does the challenge of being an emerging, aspiring artist professionally at your age, how does that hit you?
Honestly, it's something that I've been doing for about 10 years now. I started singing when I was 7 years old in my local church. Just being able to perform around people. I loved being able to perform around people. Growing up, it was more of a hobby than a job. And then I got to my teenage years, and I just wanted to grow more and more. And the last couple of years, as I've been starting to songwrite and do my own songs, I've just grown even more love for it than ever.
Well, it comes through, and that's a recurring theme that we've heard many times over the years, that, do what you love. And some wise person somewhere said, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think they were right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about songwriting. Did you write Deserve Better?
Yes, I did write Deserve Better.
Amazing. I am really impressed, not only with the overall sound, but with the hook and the put together. I know professional, well, I don't want to say you're not professional. I know long-time experienced songwriters that haven't been able to create and weave a hook like that. Where did you get the idea from?
I was just sitting down, and originally I had a different beginning of the song, and I realized it really didn't capture the audience the way I wanted it to. So my producer and I, we sat down. The song was produced at Rock Block Studios, and he just told me, Katryna, I need something that would get me hooked on the song. And I was really thinking about it for a while, and I was like, well, love's so good, it hurts so bad, because, you can sometimes love someone so much that it burns inside.
Well, you did a great job at creating an excellent hook. I really love the way, and the thing that catches me is the hook is right there at the opening. Even if you weren't planning on listening to the entire song, you almost have to, because those opening lines just grab you, and you're sitting there saying, that was clever. John Bon Jovi, you're sitting there awfully quiet and pensive. What did you think of it?
Well, I was kind of actually thinking the same thing and trying to formulate a question that I want to ask to Katryna. First of all, Katryna, welcome to the show. We are so glad that you're with us. But it's not too many pieces of music where you will hear what somebody might consider to be the chorus starting off the song, and the way that you've integrated that in there is very nice. I mean, this thing has really got a great pop sound to it. It's got a real commercial feel, which,
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And, there's a lot of artists that, they know, I want to be an alternative musician. And, well, that's all well and good, but that's not going to make you any money, no matter how much talent you have. But, I mean, this thing just smacks of commercialism. And I'm saying that as the highest form of compliment to you. You've really done a very nice job. And I would be curious to know where you are going to be musically, your maturation process in another 10 years or so. So with that in mind, where do you, and I used to hate it when a sales manager asked me this question, what are you going to sell this month? But I want to know, where do you think that Katryna Alexis is going to be in 10 years?
That's a question that I've been getting asked a lot. I'm 17, turning 18 in a year, so, the big college question comes up. And I do love singing, and I still want to be able to perform and keep putting out songs as much as possible. And I want to keep getting into the recording studio as much as I can. But I do want to go to college, and I do want to become a child psychiatrist in my future. But I would love to be able to, incorporate music and just, how beautiful music can be into my practices in the future. And just having, my own songs out there for kids to listen to, depending on what mood they're in, and being able to have that impact on a child out there somewhere is what means the world to me as a songwriter.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that, because we had a guest on the show not that long, just a couple of weeks ago, a young lady from Chicago, just a great blues singer, and she's a psychologist, and she uses her music as part of her therapy. And I just think that is such a fantastic thing to be able to do, and that's really cool that you are thinking in that direction.
The singing psychiatrist. There's a hook there.
There's a hook there, yeah.
But I agree with what John just said wholeheartedly, and I'm also thinking along the lines of the fact that what you want to do, especially since you're gearing it towards children, music is a great way of reaching them. Unobtrusively, you're not going to scare them away with music, whereas, if you just start working on them psychologically, they can be put off, but you can open many doors with music, and I think it's an excellent game plan on your part. I really do.
Thank you.
Are you studying any of the? You're still high school, or are you out of high school now?
No, I'm still a junior in high school.
Oh, okay. So you got another year to go before you get into college and selecting your courses and everything. So you've got time to think about it, but that's a good thing. And I'm still impressed with what you've accomplished at the age of 17. Now you appeared at a show. You're from St. John's, Florida, which is kind of ironic because my co-host John Bon Jovial is also in Florida. And you're currently touring Florida, are you not?
Well, because of COVID and everything, a lot of my events were canceled. I'm happy everyone's safe and taking precautions, but I was kind of sad about it because I was starting to be able to perform at the Swanee Music Festival and more shows in St. Augustine and Tallahassee. But all those got shut down, so I'm hoping, as you said earlier, things are starting to slowly, hopefully, come back to normal eventually. I hope everything goes back to, how it was before.
Absolutely. And also, write down on a side note there, just to keep handy, don't let John hear me telling you this, but write down Naples, Florida. So if you get into the Naples, Fort Myers area, we'll let him know, and we'll get him over to catch your show.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, he's my man in Florida. Whenever there's a show there, one of the artists that have been on our show, I always try to send him out to catch the artist and maybe get to talk with him and say hello. And we love it. I'm out in the Phoenix area, so if you wind up out that way sometime, keep me in mind. And I do want to mention, we're talking about your talent, especially from the singing angle of it. I do want to mention that I caught a video that's on YouTube from Lake City, Florida. I believe it was in January, where you did one of my favorite religious songs or hymns, and that was How Great Thou Art. And I have heard a lot of people do that. One of my favorites was Connie Smith. But I will say one thing. You, without being overpowering or, taking advantage of the song, you took that song and you showed a set of pipes. I mean, you put out You put your heart and soul into that, and I was really impressed. That was good. Yeah, it showed how much voice you truly have, and the fact that you know what to do with it helps as well. What's on the, now we know that you want to get back to touring. We know that you're still in school, so that limits your ability to tour, but it doesn't stop you from it. But what's on the agenda in the immediate future? Are you writing more music? Are you, obviously you're going to be rebooking, or you're going to be rebooking dates, but what are your plans for the immediate future?
So my big goal for 2021 is to create an album of my own original songs. I actually have a song coming out in sometime between April and May. It's called Stop, and it really brings out mental health awareness. I'm a big advocate for mental health awareness, and it's really about, someone being trapped in a place that they really don't feel like as if they belong. And I really wanted to write from a perspective of that. And I'm excited for people to hear it because I feel like it'll be able to touch a lot of people out there, especially in this time where people are in lockdown, aren't able to go out and see their family and stuff. I feel like right now is a really big time to be talking about that.
Well, I for one am excited to hear it as well. I hope you'll be sure and get us a copy so that we can share it with our listeners. And I'd like to, I tell all our guests that this is your stage, and self-promotion is highly encouraged. So don't hesitate to promote yourself and your music. So I'm going to take a second to do a little self-promotion myself and suggest to you to keep in touch, and maybe we can make a date for you to come back when you get your album together, and we'll debut the album, or at least several tracks from the show, and let people hear Katryna Alexis at her best.
Thank you. That means a lot.
We'll keep it in mind, and if we can, just let us know when you've got the music ready, and we'll make a date to have you on the show, and we'll review the album for you. We'd love to be able to do that. John, before we go to this final tune, any finishing comments?
Well, just, I wish you all the success in the world, Katryna, and I really hope that things pan out for you. Your thought process as far as your future is concerned, I really admire that. And, speaking from experience, because both David and I have been on the planet a little bit longer than you, just, stick to what you are comfortable with. There's nothing wrong with getting out of your comfort zone from time to time. Nothing wrong at all. But if you have a real desire to make music and you have a real desire to help your, fellow human beings, these are two things that you can put together successfully and really make something of yourself.
I agree. I agree 100% there. Now, before we let you go, two things. Here's your chance. Tell the folks how they can find you online, how they can get your music, drop you a line or whatever.
So all my social medias are under Katryna Alexis, and then I also have a website. It's KatrynaAlexis.com, but I spell Katryna a little special with a Y instead of an I. There you can find almost everything about my upcoming events. I also have 3 of my cover albums on my website. It's a Christmas album, an inspirational album, and then songs that I just personally like. I also have music videos for both of my songs, Bonnie and Clyde and Deserve Better, both made by Birdflower Productions, on my website as well. And you can find both of my songs on there, and you can find my songs on all streaming platforms too.
Fantastic. Now, we've got about 30 seconds left. Tell us about the other track that you mentioned, which is the one we're going to play next, Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, I wrote during a hurricane here in Florida. I wrote it when I was 14 years old. It's just about 2 people that love each other so immensely, but the outside world are just seen as bad. I wrote it based off the story of Bonnie and Clyde itself.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, sharing your time and your story with us. We'd love for you to come back, really look into the music, and as I said, if we can put together an album interview program, we'd love to do it. Keep us in mind, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Katryna Alexis, and here is Bonnie and Clyde.